Yes, my name is Charleston White. I'm a victim of a crime by a guy of a rolling 50 Crip. They call him 5-5 Street Crip, baby OG baby snaps. He got a cell phone in prison and he's making threats to victims via social media.
I got one quick question for you. What's the one thing Charleston White despises more than the street hustlers themselves? That's right, gang banging rappers. He can't stand them.
Stomp on his head, King Von dead. Stomp on his head, King Von dead. Did your God let us witness the death of King Von? Pow, 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 pow. And that style.
From King Von to Lil Durk, from T.I. to Soulja Boy, nobody's safe when Charleston White steps in the spotlight. Most folks would have been canceled or buried under backlash by now after saying half the things he said. But Charleston, he's still standing tall, still talking reckless, and somehow still kicking like nothing can touch him.
If you don't want no problem, what you keep on kicking up dust for?
So let's dive into some of the wildest moments of pure disrespect Charleston White has unleashed. The Texas firebrand has embarrassed rappers time and time again. Here are 10 times he straight up humiliated them, starting with Charleston White versus Bman Kevo.
Let me ask you this. What's the most you ever paid for coochie for?
Like 12 racks.
12 racks for one night? That's insane. When Bman Kevo admitted it on his Say Cheese interview, the internet went nuts. He didn't just say he dropped $12,000 on women, he confessed it was routine. On top of that, he claimed the average for cheaper hookups was around 6 bands. Bro, the math is mind-blowing. How often is this happening? Hundreds a month, millions a year? You could fund an entire community with that cash. Now I'm not knocking how Bman Kevo spends his bread. It's his pockets, not mine. But when this topic landed in Charleston White's lap during his own interview, the Texas native didn't hold back. He gave the rawest reaction possible, like only Charleston can.
I don't love pleasure that much to get nobody $12,000, and all I get is a nut. That's a sucker to me. I don't care how much money you got, you a sucker. If you giving away that money for some women don't respect tricks in no shape, form, or fashion. I don't give a damn how much money you give them. She would never have no respect for you as a man.
But Charleston wasn't stopping there. He had to sprinkle some extra pizzazz on top of his reaction. True to his style, he shifted gears and went straight at Bman Kevo's curious-looking physique, ready to roast his image.
If he really could lift weights, if he really could lift weights like he looked, cause he look like he lift weights, but he don't. He just a blowed up, you know, like the king does.
Now, how do you bounce back from a violation like that? Online, most people rode with Charleston since it was no secret that Kevo had work done. He admitted himself he got liposuction on his belly because exercise wasn't cutting it, but let's be real, his body looked strange and that made him an easy target for Charleston's jokes. The smart move after that would have been silence. Just take the L and move on. There was no chance Kevo could outtalk Charleston White in a war of words, but instead, Kevo doubled down. He went back on Say Cheese to defend paying thousands for women, and even worse, tried to add his own flair by dissing Charleston. That mistake only made the fire hotter.
So of course Charleston can get those girls that Charleston get, they free. You don't need $1 to hit them type of females. So I understand that when Charleston comes off, once he gets on this level, once he cross sides, then he'll kind of understand. Right now, he can't see this side. He barely can see anyways.
I can't lie, Kevo did manage to even the score a little with that move. And no, I'm not talking about his weak excuse for paying women, I'm talking about the jab at Charleston's crazy eyes. But come on, only a rookie would think that's where it stopped. That diss just woke Charleston up even more. After that, he ripped the gloves off and went straight into another wave of disrespect, clowning Kevo by twisting his name and cooking up fresh theories about his odd-looking physique.
He talking like he built like Bman Kevo. Oh, he talking like they eating healthy. Well, if they was eating healthy, why did he have to get the BBL? If he was eating healthy.
No, that's a very good point.
And we don't got no workout video. How is he maintaining them muscles? With styrofoam and silicone.
This fresh round of disrespect must have really lit a fire under Bman Kevo, as I'm calling him, because suddenly he felt the urge to prove Charleston wrong about that BBL being fake. One night, Charleston said he woke up to a video message from Kevo himself. The clip showed the rapper in the gym flexing and trying to show off what he called his grass-fed muscles. But Charleston wasn't impressed at all. In his words, Kevo had no real muscle, just puffed up looks. Believing Kevo was trying to challenge him, Charleston fired right back, sending his own strongest muscle as a reply.
So I sent him the best muscle I had that I thought that was, you know, can compete with other people's muscles. So I sent him my muscle. And I ain't just send him a picture, I sent him a video. And I was putting grease on my muscle. You know, like how you grease, he was greasing his arm? Yeah, I was greasing mine.
You can bet Bman Kevo didn't catch much sleep after that one. As expected, he tried to flip it back by calling Charleston gay for sending such a wild, intimate video. But here's the twist. Charleston had a reason for doing it, and honestly, his explanation almost made sense. The way he broke it down had its own twisted logic.
You saw my dick, I ain't see yours. My dick is on your mind, your dick ain't on mine. I know what your belly look like, but you know what my look like. So, nan the boo-boo, I win.
Somehow it all adds up, and I can't lie, Charleston came out on top against Kevo. But hey, at least Bman didn't have to drop 12 racks for some digital back and forth with Charleston. First time for everything, right? But the comedy ended quick once Charleston's issues shifted toward Lil Durk, O-Block, and a certain rapper named 600 Breezy. This clip right here shows one of the most dangerous moments Charleston has ever faced. No crew beside him, surrounded by O-Block members with 600 Breezy standing in front. It was the kind of standoff where Charleston was supposed to finally answer for his mouth. Funny thing is, it wasn't even a personal issue with Breezy. They barely knew each other. The tension came from Charleston's beef with King Von. Right after Von's death, Charleston took things to another level, almost celebrating it in public like it was some kind of twisted victory lap, and that's what brought Breezy to his doorstep.
I watched a demon get erased, walked to his demise with so much power and force behind him.
Charleston's rant on King Von was so over the top that plenty of folks who didn't even know him swore he had completely lost it.
Stomp on his head, King Von dead. Stomp on his head, King Von dead.
And you can't blame people for thinking that way. If you didn't know Charleston had been waging war on the gang lifestyle his whole life, you'd wonder why he was tearing down a dead rapper's name so hard. But 600 Breezy and plenty of O-Block members knew Charleston wasn't bluffing. He meant every word, and they hated it. Word on the street was Breezy and his crew were just waiting for their chance to catch Charleston slipping. And like fate tied to Von's memory, that moment came at a movie premiere. 600 Breezy rolled up deep with his people, while Charleston showed up completely alone.
Now, we in Mississippi at the movie premiere. Now, he come in, and they get there, you know, that's Charleston White, ooh, 600 Breezy. What's up, black man?
Charleston had no clue he'd be crossing paths with one of Von's closest homies that day. And he definitely didn't plan on throwing hands or sparking violence. But 600 Breezy, he came in with energy, ready for something to pop off, even while claiming otherwise. And truth be told, if it wasn't for one big obstacle standing in the way, Breezy probably would have gone through with it and left Charleston badly hurt.
So I walk in the crib. I get that, hey, I'm on some cool shit. I never yelled at this. None of that. I never did. None of that. I know he gonna put the police on me. Telling me to my face, I'm putting the police on me.
It was the fear of police heat that made 600 Breezy ease up on Charleston that night. But knowing all that, Charleston didn't even flinch. He stood tall in front of his enemies. Even worse, he doubled down, saying Breezy and his crew were out here killing black men while he was fighting for his people. Nothing went sideways that day, and Charleston walked away with both his mouth and ego intact. For Breezy, that was a bitter loss. Imagine watching someone disrespect your dead homie, catching them outside and still not being able to move. And Charleston didn't stop there. He later went on DJ Academic's platform, of all places, to diss not just Von again, but the entire city of Chicago. That's when Breezy drew a line, warning Charleston he better pray they never cross paths outside again.
I said, but when I see you again, it's gonna be a problem.
But here's where it gets tricky. In a later sit-down with DJ Vlad, Breezy admitted he wasn't chasing Charleston anymore because getting into it with him could bring heat from the law. That meant Charleston walked away the winner in his beef with Breezy. But his mission didn't stop there. Charleston set his sights on O-Block as a whole, firing shots at Chicago's gangster culture. Call it drive-by dissing, call it reckless, it didn't matter. He was going all in. His next target, Lil Durk. But the second Charleston threw shade on Von's name again, fans swarmed the comments, warning him that Durk was coming for his head if he kept that disrespect going.
I killed the image, homie, of what our people think these niggas is. Lil Durk ain't no bad motherfucker. No, man, bad motherfuckers don't have fat white baby mamas.
Man, sometimes I really wonder how Charleston manages to spit this wild talk with a straight face. Honestly, the logic behind this particular diss is shaky at best, but if his mission was to tear down O Block's image in front of fans, then he was definitely striking a nerve, and here's the twist. Charleston might have one of the sharpest tongues in the game, but deep down his heart seemed to be in the right place. When Say Cheese pressed him about fans begging Lil Durk to avenge Von's death, Charleston had a response locked and loaded.
This is a lose-lose situation that the fans want to put the rappers in.
Absolutely.
If they don't do it, we gonna quit listening to you. If you do it, and go to jail, we gonna quit listening to you.
We all know Durk isn't saying a word, and with O Block scared of police heat, Charleston probably feels untouchable. But what I've shown so far is still a tamer side of him, because what he did to King Yella over the same Von situation flipped everything upside down. Charleston versus King Yella was a whole new chapter. Yella should have known which fights weren't his, but sadly, that lesson didn't stick. To his credit, he stayed quiet while Charleston dissed Von. But when Charleston dragged the late FBG Duck into it, Yella finally snapped. Instead of clapping back, though, Charleston swerved and went even lower, this time targeting Yella's family, singling out his young daughter to make a point.
With all that scribbly stuff on his face, I said, that's a dope fiend, baby. His mama was a crack addict, baby. That's why he was in an institution. He looked like he was in an institution. Yeah. King Yella, baby. He old Yella with a bunch of scribbly scrabbly on his face, and he got an ugly daughter. Yeah, he got an ugly yellow daughter.
I mean, even if Yella had brushed off Charleston's shots at him personally, there was no way he could ignore a hit aimed at his family, especially his daughter. That crossed the line too far, so it was no shock when Yella finally fired back.
Will you play with my children, my daughter? On GLD, you do all that shit you talk about like it's for the youth. But you talking about a 3-year-old child, though. You goofy Mark clown. You and your ugly dog rat looking ass wife.
Nobody was blaming Yella for clapping back. In fact, most of the community stood with him. Because everyone agrees kids should always be off limits. If grown folks want to be, fine, but children never asked to be part of it. They didn't sign up for birth, didn't choose this life, and definitely shouldn't get dragged into the mess. Yella's 3-year-old was no exception. But Charleston, being Charleston, still tried to flip the script with his own defense. He argued that people only got outraged when he dissed gangster kids, but stayed silent when those same gangsters were out in the streets killing other people's children. According to him, the reaction was pure hypocrisy, and that was his justification for aiming so low.
Tuka was a kid. They so listen, homie, there was a 1-month-old baby shot in the head in Chicago. How can we be so offended by motherfuckers saying that ugly little bitch, but we watch kids die by the hands of these gangbangers year after year, homie?
But none of Charleston's twisted explanations stopped Yella from firing back. He straight up threatened violence against the Texas native without hesitation.
I heard you're gonna be in Vegas soon. I hope you come with the police, because if I find out where you're gonna be at, on my mama, on my kids, I'm gonna, you see these? You see this? I'm gonna put this motherfucker all on your face. I'm gonna smack you like a...
So how did Charleston White clap back? Did he back down with an apology? Did he double down and diss Yella's daughter even worse? Or maybe turn his fire straight at Yella himself? If you guessed any of those, you're way off. Charleston went the other route. He reported Yella's threat straight to his probation officer. In other words, he flat out snitched.
So I get a lot of threats from the gang members. There's one in particular by the name of King Yella that I was told he's on probation out of Las Vegas, but he's a well-known, influential, powerful Chicago gang leader. And he's making threats online about when I come to Las Vegas.
Bet you didn't see that twist coming. Yella was barely one step out of prison, and any slip-up could have sent him right back in. And believe it or not, this wasn't even Charleston's first time dialing up the cops on a rapper. He had already done the same to OG Percy's son, PMG God, and that call ended with PMG slammed with a brutal 20-year sentence. Charleston even tried to justify calling the law on Yella, saying the rapper was strapped up with a weapon he didn't even realize he was carrying. In Charleston's mind, that was reason enough.
He twice my size. His slap is a weapon. Now he just talking, making a threat. He's not thinking about a law-abiding citizen that's thinking about the law and very strategic in everything he do. He a 200-pound plus man
known to have probably a violent history.
But that still wasn't the end of it. Charleston took things even further by flashing his own weapons online, making it crystal clear he was strapped up and ready, just in case Yella decided to go full kamikaze. And sure enough, once Yella realized the full weight of what Charleston had pulled, he fired back yet again with another heated response aimed straight at Charleston.
All y'all people that's trying to come up off the culture, yeah, you might be black, but you not no street. And if you was, you's a straight goofy. You's a goofy for what you doing. You have to be smarter. Now you trying to play police.
By this point, Yella realized it wasn't worth chasing Charleston anymore. He had too much on the line, and Charleston made it clear he'd use the law if anything happened. So Charleston dodged a physical clash with Yella, but he hasn't always been that lucky. One beef that got real messy was with Soulja Boy. After Young Dolph's death in November 2021, Soulja Boy went live. At first glance, it looked like a silent moment of respect, but fans who knew the backstory saw it differently. In his own twisted way, Soulja was mocking Dolph. They had been beefing long before Dolph's passing, and the timing had people convinced Soulja was bragging about taking out his ops. The internet went wild with speculation. Was Soulja Boy really hinting he had a hand in it? That's when Say Cheese asked Charleston his take on the situation. And as always, Charleston didn't hesitate to give a raw, unfiltered answer.
I Soulja Boy. Crunchy Black said he was a punk. Yeah, Crunchy Black still real. Yeah, my Country Black talk real bad about it. Man, listen. I want to remind Soulja Boy, you ain't got no mother option. And watch him use.
Of course, Soulja Boy caught wind of Charleston's comments, and of course he jumped back on live to clap back. This time, he made it crystal clear. Nobody, not Charleston, not Say Cheese, nobody at all, had his permission to speak on his name or drag him into their narratives.
Say Cheese, DJ Vlad, No Jumper, stop interviewing all these dead boy.
Soulja Boy was clearly pressed, and Charleston's words had cut deep. In that same interview, Charleston flat out said Soulja wasn't a gangster. Less than a month later, the Crank That rapper pulled up in a Sprinter van packed with 10 of his goons, catching Charleston while he was out shopping at the mall. Soulja later claimed he just wanted to talk. But Charleston wasn't buying it for a second, because if all Soulja wanted was a friendly conversation, why roll up 10 deep like it was a military mission? The whole setup screamed intimidation, not dialogue.
They were real passive-aggressive. So I'm trying to read the body language. Nobody's smiling, nobody's saying, nobody's giving off no danger. So I gradually reach in my pocket and grab this little bottle of mace.
Yes, you heard that right. Charleston pulled out a bottle of mace and let it fly. Depending on who's telling the story, he was defending himself or straight up attacking. Either way, it was pure chaos. Classic Charleston.
So he walked up to me. The first 6, 7 guys, damn near stand 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. As soon as he say, I want to talk, I'll reach over her head.
How you gonna catch your so-called op slipping in broad daylight and still end up taking the loss? Soulja Boy walked right into an L, and the wild part is, it came from Mace of all weapons.
He's out here with pepper spray, y'all. That's what's going on. These niggas out here putting pepper spray out there first.
By this point, Soulja was pushing a whole different version of the story. He claimed Charleston panicked, spraying mace into the air out of fear. But if you look at the footage, Soulja's eyes tell another story. They were puffy, and Charleston even clowned him for it, saying, your face ain't even healed yet. I know you're still aggravated and agitated. You got skin irritation, so you're still mad some kind of way. Soulja fired back by broke shaming Charleston. He said Charleston still lived in a trailer park, bragged that he'd been making millions since he was 16, then flashed a stack of $100 bills at the camera. He even demanded Charleston show $100,000 of his own, something we all know Charleston wasn't pulling out anytime soon. But here's the real question, who really won? Soulja with his flashy stacks, or Charleston, who stood his ground against 10 dudes armed with nothing but mace? Either way, the saga didn't stop there. Next up came a showdown that sparked even bigger drama, Charleston versus T.Y. and his son King, the feud that set everything in motion.
Stop talking, this ain't your fucking restaurant. This ain't your fucking restaurant. Everything you make, I can pull out my pocket right now. I ain't tripping.
If you don't know, King Harris is T.I.'s son, and back in May 2022, he went viral for all the wrong reasons. A clip showed him arguing with staff inside a Waffle House after they supposedly messed up his order. Things escalated when a cashier told him he couldn't cuss, and King lost it, threatening to pistol whip the employees on camera. The internet tore into King, but all eyes turned to T.I. for a response. He spoke out, but his words were soft and came off weak. T.I. said he talked to his son, questioning why King felt the need to argue with a short-order cook, someone beneath his level in life. That hit people the wrong way. First, it sounded like T.I. was blaming the worker while letting his son slide. Second, his comments dripped with superiority as if King was too good to be checked by an everyday person. Naturally, the backlash was heavy, and Charleston White was one of the loudest critics. But here's the twist. Charleston didn't touch on King at first. He waited until King and Tootie Raw, Boozie's son, were both arrested and King's mugshot hit the internet. That's when Charleston jumped in.
He don't look nothing like that T.I. boy. That boy T.I. boy that put that blonde shit on this motherfucking hair. Yeah, he damn near look like a curly hair Howard the Duck. A platypus mouth little boy. That boy look grown in a mother.
King Harris wasn't about to let Charleston's harsh take on his look slide. He clapped back with a fiery live stream, loaded with insults aimed straight at the man himself.
Boy, Charleston White, you was a bitch, boy. That nigga said he was with him. He was with him. Man, I stayed with my older cousins. Motherfucker went to pointing who did what, man. We was about to whoop your ass when you come back down here from telling. Yo ass, I can see you had a soft upbringing.
The irony went right over King's head. Picture this. T.I.'s son trying to clown Charleston by saying he had a soft upbringing. That was exactly the bait Charleston wanted. The moment King's live ended, Charleston fired his own up instantly, ready to drag him even deeper into the spotlight.
T.I. son say, I'll whoop your old ass. Now T.I., you raising these kind of little yellow motherfuckers. You got a yellow motherfucker, look how your son look, talking about he'll jump on a 50-something-year-old nigga. Yo boy, hey, so T.I., them the kind of boys you got? Say, T.I., listen, if your boy jump on me, y'all will bury that yellow motherfucker.
At this point, T.I. decided enough was enough. He jumped in personally, firing off his own threats at Charleston, trying to put him in check for daring to come after his son's life.
Whatever man can fix his motherfucking face to talk shit about a motherfucking kid, bruh. Use a come deal with the daddy. Come deal with the daddy, man.
T even warned Charleston that he had people ready to sit behind bars for him and his family if it came to that. But Charleston didn't flinch, not one bit. Instead, he flipped part of T.Y.'s threat into ammo, turning it back on him by accusing the rapper of being a rat who secretly worked with the FBI.
And say he a 7-time convicted felon in one song. 7 convicted felons. I was just saying 7 convicted felons. How you get caught with all these got guns? How? What deal? You can't even find his records nowhere on this.
The drama was heating up fast, and like most of Charleston's rivals, T.I. had way more on the line than Charleston ever did. Meanwhile, Charleston was ready to drag things the full distance. Press tours, interviews, the whole nine. After some back and forth, denials, a diss track, and plenty of threats, T.I. finally ran out of steam and waved the white flag. He got on a call with Charleston, allegedly trying to squash the beef, but peace didn't stick. Even then, Charleston made sure he landed the last word before the whole thing went quiet. That's just how he plays the game.
Yeah, just got off the phone with T.I. Yeah, just got off the phone with T.I. Yeah, just got off the phone with T.I. Yeah, you don't get to dictate nothing. Yeah, you don't get, you or whoever that nigga don't know. You don't get to dictate nothing. I'm trying to get understanding. Well, I ain't trying to get an understanding or give an understanding.
And that's where the saga left off, Charleston White walking away with the final word, just like he always does. Love him or hate him, he keeps shaking the culture with every beef and every wild claim. What do you think? Was Charleston crossing lines or just telling raw truths nobody else dares to say? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, share this with your people, and don't forget to subscribe for more wild stories like this.